Good evening. This is Friday, January 9th, 11 days until the inauguration of President-elect Barack Obama. The trouble with running as the change candidate, with presenting your candidacy as a vessel to wipe clean the abuses of the previous administration, is that upon taking office, people are going to be expecting change, substantial change, with the proverbial urgency of now. Our fifth story on the countdown. On the one hand, President-elect Obama again promising today that his administration will not torture. On the other, picking as his top advisor on counterterrorism a CIA veteran under fire for his past statements seemingly about favoring torture. And you thought the Leon Panetta pick was going to be problematic. President-elect Obama's official announcement of his intelligence team as expected, Panetta at CIA, Dennis Blair as Director of National Intelligence, each all but overshadowed by Mr. Obama's decision to appoint John Brennan, his top advisor on counterterrorism. 6 weeks ago, Mr. Brennan having withdrawn his name from consideration for the top job at CIA because of fears he might not be able to win Senate approval due to past statements supporting some enhanced interrogation techniques. No Senate confirmation required for Mr. Brennan's post that would be in the West Wing. At today's news conference, the president-elect repeating his previous assertions that his administration will be 100% torture-free.
I was clear throughout this campaign and have been clear throughout this transition that under my administration, the United States does not torture. We will abide by the Geneva Conventions, that we will uphold our highest values and ideals. And that is a clear charge that I've given to Admiral Blair and to Leon Panetta.
What might just feel like torture, the reception Mr. Obama has been getting on Capitol Hill from the Democrats, no less. First, there was the reaction to Panetta. Now, Senate Democrats openly chafing at various parts of Obama's stimulus package. With today's news that unemployment went to 7.2% in December, the highest it has been since 1993. The president-elect leading off today's news conference with another plea for quick passage of his economic plan.
Today's job report only underscores the need for us to move with a sense of urgency and common purpose. For the sake of our economy and our people, this is the moment to act, and to act without delay.
It's not just Democratic lawmakers to whom President-elect Obama needs to answer. How about to a Nobel Prize-winning economist? In his New York Times column today, Paul Krugman criticizing the initial stimulus plan offered by Obama as insufficient, as in far too small to tackle the scope of the nation's economic problems. The president-elect saying he's open to making edits.
If Paul Krugman has a good idea in terms of how to spend money efficiently and effectively to jumpstart the economy, then we're going to do it. I think that there are going to be a lot of different opinions out there. We're going to take all of them in, and at the end of the day, we're going to have a package that Congress passes and I sign.
Time now to call in our own Craig Crawford, also columnist with CQPolitics.com. Craig, good evening.
Hi, Keith.
Starting first with this subject of torture, is it a mixed signal to state you will not torture and then to name John Brennan, who I guess it's fair to say has a soft record on wiretapping and enhanced interrogation and rendition, to a counterterror post that does not permit Senate confirmation?
Well, apparently the Obama team had trouble finding people with intelligence in the intelligence community who weren't singed in some way by their proximity to the control rods of the agency and some of the activities that went on. I think every president who finds someone like that they want in their White House and realize they'd have trouble with confirmation has a right to have them there. The key thing is not to give them power over the people who do have Senate confirmation, and that's what we've seen in other administrations.
And to that point, the Leon Panetta nomination at Central Intelligence, has that controversy died down? Is he likely to get confirmed? Is he likely to get confirmed easily?
Seems to. Panetta is someone who has written a couple of columns anyway that I've seen where he has been very clear in opposing torture and has even called for an executive order banning torture once the new president was in office, something we'll wait and see if Obama actually does. But in general, Obama's just managing this tension in so many areas between idealism and pragmatism on something like torture and the intelligence community. community. Idealists believe that what's right works, and pragmatists believe that what works is right, and Obama's always kind of in between. He balances it pretty well, though. Sometimes I think this guy could balance a city bus on a high wire.
Well, certainly today he had to balance the topic of this security team, and the economy again really began to take over this news conference. Those unemployment numbers today, in a perverse way, would they help him in making his case about the stimulus program with Congress?
The sense of panic is something presidents have often used to great success in getting things through Congress. The way Congress works, if everyone's not in a panic, sometimes you can't get something done. It's good things in cases like Franklin Roosevelt, who had to close the banks right after he was inaugurated the very next day and get the economy going again eventually and get Congress moving, get legislation. Other presidents have used panic for other reasons, like George Bush getting us into the war in Iraq. Mm-hmm. And keep the funding going for it. So, that is a technique presidents use, and in this case, yes. Although in Obama's case, if he gooses up the panic too much, they might want to spend a lot more money than he wants to and grow the deficit even more than it already is.
Well, and to that point, Craig, criticism that the recovery plan needs to be even bigger and bolder than it is right now, as Paul Krugman expressed it. When John Harwood talked to the president-elect earlier this week, he said this is he's starting on the low end of what the economists have told him is needed. Is he already building in that Capitol Hill inflation that you just referred to, or is there a real debate over whether you should be small or large at the start?
Well, the trouble for presidents when they have to propose spending bills, it sort of violates the old rule of bargaining that always let the other guy name the first price. Mm-hmm. So once you put a price on there, then the haggling begins, and that may be what they're looking at. That's certainly what usually happens, is once you put something out there, it just keeps growing.
Oh, is that it? Let the other guy name it? Oh, thank you. It took me 50 years to find that out. Craig Crawford of MSNBC and Congressional Quarterly with practical tips for all of us. Great thanks. Have a great weekend.